Everyone, and welcome back to the Paintology drawing session, live session, where I'll be taking you through a drawing from start to finish using the Paintology drawing app. As you know, I just completed another live session on the Paintology channel itself. In case you don't know, I do have two channels which you can check out for the live streams and also various types of videos that I post on each of these channels. The Paintology channel caters to more of the app itself and tries to focus everything around the app, whereas the Ferdouse channel, I can go a little bit, I can sort of move away from it and do more other types of drawings, which are more akin to other types of people's interests, etc. But recently it's been in more or less in the same line as I've been doing with the Paintology, this channel. So the reason being is that the app has got a lot of followers. The app is getting a lot of followers, and hence my my take on doing more valuable and useful stuff for the excuse me, I had something in my throat, for the subscribers that have subscribed to the channels, because obviously they like the drawing, and they want to, probably majority of them would also want to learn drawing on their phone. And the drawing is the phone is such a powerful tool, as you have demonstrated if you've seen any of my drawings. So typically this was the drawing I was doing, that I made with the Paintology. You can see how detailed you can make this beautiful drawing of the which showed off the blending possibilities using the Paintology app here. And this blending was perfect for this kind of drawing, and so that's how I went through from start to finish. So it was actually a complete drawing I made in the just over the 1 hour tutorial. It's in the Paintology live stream. You can check it out there. And so, as you know, this method of drawing is not known to a lot of people, and there are good reasons for that. And the reason being that majority of people who use digital medium thinks it has to be used in a specific way, and that's no surprise because practically everyone uses it in the same way, which is essentially to dive into the digital tools, play around with it, and start able doing some rudimentary drawings, and then they go from there, and then they take it all the way to some of the big digital artists, and their artwork happens to be always appears to look digital, right? And the reason why it looks digital is because they've become so reliant on the tools themselves, auto correction, layers, blending, you name it, everything that a digital app now possesses. But Paintology has a totally different philosophy to digital drawing, and that's brought about through traditional techniques, which I call the fundamental skills and fundamental core skills of art, which goes beyond the tools themselves. So just keep that in mind, because the tools will be your limitation if you go through the path of becoming too reliant on the tools. You can see in this drawing, if you asked a digital artist how I made this drawing, they would not know where to start or where to begin. And the simple truth is, I don't use digital tools of blending, blurring, corrections. I use it manually, just like I would draw pencil and paper. And then you tell them it was done in just over an hour. I don't think they will believe you anyway. But anyway, this shows the power of art techniques borrowed from the traditional, which has been the mainstream artwork for centuries, right? So we're going to do the same thing, and I picked this drawing. So before I do that, I'd like to show you a few resources, and please interesting what happened here. I think I just clicked on one of the videos, but I hope you're still there. Let me check. Yep, you're still here. So I don't know what happened there. So I'm going to exit out of this, and then I'm going to take this. Let's open up the image. I'm going to show you that we're going to tackle this one. Beautiful drawing. It's not a beautiful image of the plains and the sky. So attractive to look at. It's like something you can, it's like a morning dusk or the settling sun. I don't know. It could be anything, but it's so wonderful. And it's slightly different to the previous one because when I look at an image, I look at it from the point of view of the satisfaction of seeing the beautiful image like that. And, like that's what inspired many of the great masters, like Van Gogh, Monet, Constable, Turner. They were just mesmerized by the beauty of the light, and they turned that into their canvas. And that's what the beauty of painting is. You want to turn that into your own unique style, unique way of artwork, right? And you could do it through digital tools, but then you'll be forever accessing digital tools more than doing the drawing itself. So just want to tell you that I'm a very advanced user of Photoshop, but I would not use it for drawing. The pleasure of drawing for me is just like the traditional. And so let me show you a few resources quickly. So here, I would encourage you to join the Paintology classroom. You'll find the link in the description. And this classroom is free, and it takes you through rapidly through some essential skills that you need to master. Remember, the class has not been defined as a way of using the app. I'm not pushing the app to be the sole app for you to draw. I'm pushing techniques and art fundamentals through the app, and that kind of skill set runs across the board whenever you go to any art medium. Believe me, when you draw, your skills in drawing of understanding tones through Paintology will come to bear when you do pencil drawing. Trust me, that has been the case, and that will be the case for the app. The app is not solely working as a as an application that you should use and just and draw whatever drawings that comes to your mind and using all the myriad of tools. No, it's designed to teach you art fundamentals that you can apply to any art mediums. The reason why the traditional art and digital mediums have remained aloof from each other is because of the way the digital medium has evolved. It is driven by people who use tools, and that has a bad rap with traditional artists. And I'll show you that that's not the case when I draw with digitally, and the reason why I can draw like that. So I would encourage you to go through this. It's got plenty of exercises, and of course you can skip through it. But the beauty of this is that it'll take you far quicker to where your goals are rather than trying to say, yeah, I need to do this, need to do that. Don't remember, if you're a beginner or you're just sort of getting into it, remember you're not the best guide to direct yourself into drawing the best and fastest way. The best person is the person who is accomplished and is able to give you that knowledge and training. So I'm telling you that this is an excellent way. And so to get the reference image, just go to paintology.com, and then we will start drawing along to this painting here. So how do we go about it? If you're new to this, you'll probably not know what block coloring is. Block coloring is a way of trying to get the tonal values, the big tonal colors down to the actual drawing yourself. So it's done in through trace mode, which is here. And then I've loaded this image. Remember, you can load any image of your choice. It doesn't have to be this. Whatever takes your fancy, I would encourage you to do it. It's the same as my English teacher when I was young told me, if you want to improve your English and reading skills, read anything that you can get your hands on. And I've always believed that and kept it in my mind. It's the same thing with drawing. Whatever you believe in, just grab it and do it. Just do it. So this is a drawing that I'm very fond of landscapes. If you've come to know what I like to do, and I'm very fond of landscapes, and so has some of the great past masters. They've always started off with the landscapes as well, and Cézanne was one who continued to do landscape for the remainder of his life, and he was one of the most renowned artists of the genre of the century. Anyway, so this is in trace mode. What does this mean? It means that when I load the image, I'm going to see this trace bar on the left. And what this does is that essentially the top half refers to the image. It means that the color picker will work relative. So I'm going to put this in line brush. Could take this to 100%, then take this up. So I'm going to show you. Let me pick the color picker and then pick this color. Increase the brush size actually. So color picker, pick this color picker, pick that color picker, this color picker, and then let's pick another color, this one, color picker, and then this one, and let's see what the colors we have. Look at that. These are the colors that we've just picked up from and there are thousands of these tones going on. So another piece of a tip I'm going to give you is that if you're beginning, please try to work with this gray tone, grayscale. Notice what happens, the grayscale, the whole image turns grayscale. And why would you want to draw this way? Well, grayscales are easier to understand about tones. In any kind of artwork, tones play a fundamental part in drawing, tones and values. You've probably heard many artists go on and on about tones, but they've never really put it into practice in the same way that you can learn much faster until now in Paintology. So tones, the reason why I can make photorealistic drawings is because I have a keen tuned into tones, and I've tuned into tones by drawing this way, drawing this method of the trace bar. That's the only reason I can really tune into tones, because I will show you as you go through the drawing, your acute sense of tones increases. It's a bit like when you want to buy a car and you had a particular model in mind. Suddenly, you're researching this car, and then what happens? Everywhere you drive, you see this car. Suddenly, it's come into the forefront of your brain. It's the same thing with drawing. When you tune into tones, it will come into the forefront of your brain, and these tones play a fundamental part in drawing. So why is the one artist better than the other? Because they can replicate tones much better in any art medium than others. In oil, they can mix the paint better. In watercolors, they have a great appreciation of color tones. Pastels, graphite, shading, pencils, and so there's all kinds of, even in line drawing, they try and create a semblance of tone, and that semblance of tones is done through cross-hatching, through making it darker and thing. You may have seen some of the line drawings as well. So always try and practice with the grayscale if you can. It's such a wonderful way to acquire tone. Color tones are difficult to master because you have to worry about the different color gradients, and then it's not easy to say which tone is lighter and which is darker, and to what extent is it dark. That's where it gets a little harder. Let me open up the color palette here. Look at this color palette that I opened up. Remember, there's a good reason for having the color palette right on your drawing screen. And the reason for that is because when you have a drawing that you want to make, and let's say there are 10,000 strokes in the drawing, if you have to access a tool for by 2 clicks, that means a third of your drawing is based on actual drawing. And when you have to access it in one go, it's a lot faster, isn't it? Otherwise, you have to constantly accessing that tool set. Come on, why do you want to do that for? I mean, it doesn't make sense. That's why Paintology was developed to bring all these essential tools right on your fingertips, so you spend more of your time drawing and not selecting tools. So if you look at these tones that vary as you go through the color gradient, look, can you see it? Let's take the blue tone, for example. Here, let's go to our canvas. Here is the blue tone, right? Ooh, that's way too big. I have to go down. Yeah, and then let's click on this color bar and let's go to the very lightest tone there. That's it. And then let's pick that color bar and go somewhere here. And then let's pick that color bar and go somewhere here. See, that's darker. And let's go to somewhere here. See how the tones of the blue gets darker and dark. See, it gets darker all the way, and there's so many gradients of tones that you can go through here. Look, there's another color here. There's another color. You can select. There's such a gradient of tones just on that blue. Look at that. So many different gradients of tone. So that's what the tone values. Now, if you want to go on the grayscale, as I was telling you here, right, let's look at the grayscale. There, then here. Look at that. It's much better to appreciate these tonal changes, isn't it? All the way here. So that's going through that way in the gray, darker tones there. So let's go out of this. I'm not going to undo this. Let's discard it. And then let's pick up the traced image of the drawing that we're going to do, this one. So you can see the thousands of tones or hundreds of thousands of tones going on in a particular, and the challenge for the painter is to bring those tones to their drawing canvas here, okay? So to make it easier, first of all, you may have seen any piece of artwork done by some of the great YouTubers, some of the great artists on YouTube. You'll see that they go through doing a crude drawing and taking it slowly all the way to a final piece of art. And that sequence of events they go through is nice to watch, but most beginners won't have a clue as to why that person has gone through this sequence of events. And here, Paintology will help you to appreciate that sequence of events. It's called the drawing process, okay? Very important to understand. I was researching drawing process, and then I came to understand that the drawing process is not easily talked about by many artists, teachers of art. And then it got me curious, piqued my interest, and then I'm thinking, why? And then I realized they can't do that because it's just too cumbersome to explain the process of a particular. For example, let's say you have a favorite artist who you like watching. They go through the whole process of drawing. If they were to actually sit you down and make you the same drawing art that they do, they would have to capture frame by frame of each drawing that they do, and then they have to tell you why they did this with this pencil, and then they also may have to tell you, I pressed 30% of what I would normally put pressure on this pencil, and then I used a line stroke. I angled my brush, the pencil, to go and sweep the drawing strokes like this. It's just too awkward, isn't it? But here I can tell you digital medium is so powerful, and it's the reason why I created this app, is that it can it can distill those elements and components of the drawing process. So I'm going to talk more about the drawing process as I go along. I won't, trouble you with the details without practice, right? And I hope you've got the image up on your phone, Android phone, and doing the drawing along with me. So let's fire away, right? So first of all, we're going to use the line brush. So you got the line brush, and we're going to select a particular size. And then we've got the cursor position just halfway above the midpoint. What this means is that the color picker is going to pick any of these colors that are on any of the colors that are on the that are on the reference. So I use the color picker every now and then. And here I go. I'm just simply just using the color picker and just replicating these colors. Naturally, the color that I pick is from the point where I start. So it doesn't have to be the exact, but it is a close resemblance to the rest of the colors that's going on, like that yellow sky, right? And this, I'm not too worried have I picked the right color tone, right? This is a broad way of putting down colors. You may have seen some artists actually put down block of colors like this when they paint, and this is exactly what I'm doing. Just putting down blocks of colors. And remember, I've got a very broad brush, so that's all I'm doing. Just lay down the blocks of colors, and I'm pretty sure you're able to do this. I mean, look at the brush size, it's so big, but I'm not too worried because I have to go through this quite fast. So I've got a technique in mind that will allow me to make this drawing quite quickly without too much of those cloud details that's going on there. And I'll show you how that works. Yeah. So that's what creativity comes in. Right? Because you don't want to be spending too much time making photorealistic drawing. Although I showed you the drawing earlier looks photorealistic, isn't it? But it was only done with, it was just done with what, in less than an hour or so. So you can see the power of the digital medium if you choose to draw the method that I'm showing you, describing to you. So feel free to comment. And remember, the app is quite powerful. The Paintology drawing app is very powerful from the point of view that you can share your artwork in community. And I'm going to show you some nice drawings of the tutorial section, which not many people are aware of when they load the app. The tutorial section is where you can, there are over 600 tutorials with some of them, many of them videos, and you can learn while you are having fun. This is not an academic course. I know academic training can be very theoretical and can put you off sometimes, but this is all practice with the app. So you're actually learning academic art fundamentals by practicing as well. Okay, so I don't come from an art background. It just so happens that when I was a kid, my teacher loved my artwork. She thought I had a real good talent for it, but I went into science and I stuck to science for many years, and then I thought I had lost all my art skills at school, and then suddenly I picked up a paint by numbers or a hobby kit, and then I did that, and I was so impressed with it, and so were my friends when I showed it to them that I hung it up, and that inspired me to pick up my painting and drawing, which I thought was long gone, but honestly, it was just always there. I just needed the confidence to get back. And then since then, I've been doing a lot of drawings, painting, and then sometimes it would take a back seat for a couple of years, and then along came something that I really wanted to do, which was digital, the Paintology app, which is the app that I've developed. And then I've been spending the last few years developing that, refining that, for to teach other people the same method of drawing that I use, when I come to draw. So, and I want people and to share this with everyone else. So here you see, right? I've laid down the basic foundation. I'm not too worried about the drawings. Well, the problem is many here. I'm going to take this down now. I'm going to take this down to half the size, right? And then I'm going to capture some of the smaller areas, right? That's all I'm going to do. So let's just look at this for now. This is what is the step one of the drawing process. It basically means that we're going to keep continuing to build it up bit by bit until we get to the level you saw earlier when I showed you the early drawing, which looked very impressive, I have to say, right? Because you have to understand that I'm not, I don't make drawing or painting it's not my life earnings or such, right? It was technology all my life, but I am doing it because I enjoy doing it, and as I've been teaching these live stream, it has made me appreciate art more and more, and I'm learning all the time. And trust me, in the 3 weeks that I have been doing this, my skills have increased substantially. I just cannot tell you, but I'm just really surprised with myself as well, how fast and how more tuned in I am to the art, and I can't wait to make another photorealistic drawing. You might have seen it. I did one of the astronaut recently, and then also Brad Pitt, and I've done quite a few on the phones as well, which you will see on the channel. So this is the it's freehand, but I'm showing you the techniques that you need to master before you can say, yeah, you need to move into freehand and dismiss all those naysayers, oh, it's cheating, doing it by trace. So now you've seen this drawing, right? And now I'm going to keep adding details. So reduce the brush size. When I reduce the brush size, immediately I get better control of the tones and I have better idea and I can create a better image with more resolution. Think of it like that, right? Because now I'm tackling the smaller areas, whereas I had previously had a bigger brush. Now I can capture these smaller tones, you see? And that's really key to developing photorealistic drawings on the phone. Okay, I'm just going over the areas that I've missed with the bigger brush. You can see I deliberately missed out the tree, and the reason for doing that was because the trees had very small, you know, features that wasn't possible to use that big brush to get to it. So that's all I'm doing. Look at that. This beautiful pink come here, right? That's all I'm doing. And then look at these, the tree trunks. So this doesn't require drawing experience. You have to agree that this nowhere requires exceptional drawing skills. Just requires you to see the tones and where it's happening and how it's working, and then just follow along to it, right? That's all I'm doing. Just following along to it. And then any areas that I've left behind, that's all I'm doing. It's like part of the drawing process where I'm not too fussed with the initial steps of the drawing, but I know eventually I'm going to get to a level that will be pleasing to the eye, right? And that's what you want to do as well. The problem is that with the tools, right, people see results right away and they think that they're making beautiful pieces of art, but it's not. You'll be eventually limited by these tools, I'm sad to say. And there are many examples where I have a Cora platform where I'm an active user, paintology.quora.com, and I highly recommend that you check that out. And you will have daily postings, and I've answered probably like 1,500 questions related to art on that. And then I've also had to dismiss people's backward thinking on comes to digital art. You know, a lot of people will say now it's not art, it's the computer does all the work. Oh really? So what you're saying is that if I say go to my computer and I say draw me a landscape and then I go back and make coffee and it's done, right? Just ridiculous when how people come up with that kind of thinking. And some of them even said it's soulless, right? And I'm thinking, come on, art is if you take a piece of chalk, make a mark on the street, that's art, man. Believe me, that's art. So when people spend time creating art, even with the digital tools, they're still creating art. And there's no doubt about it. There are people who are non-practitioners talk like that. They talk more with what they see than more than what they do, right? So I didn't have that big brush. So you see that branch? So what I'm going to do now is, yep, you can use the rule of thumb. Take down, when you do the block coloring, start off with a bigger brush, 20%, take it down to 10, then take it down to 5, okay, and then just keep doing it, and you'll find that the image starts coming into shape, a part of the drawing process. It's about the right brush size, isn't it? Although it could be still smaller. So pick the colors, just, okay. See the smaller brush size, you can get into the tiny details. There. Okay, and let's see what we can do with the smaller brush size. We can take out all these. Look at the lovely tree. And then look at this. We picked out colors. Can you believe it, right? These colors at the base of the field looks like so dark, right? This is where the a lot of artists are amused by and like showing off, is that they show the dark tones against light tones, and our eyes, when it comes to dark tones, makes the whole appearance look darker or lighter against a lighter tone. What I mean is that, look, can you see this? Can you see I picked almost the exact color tones, and it still looks dark, doesn't it? Yeah, it's wonderful how the eyes work, right? So what are we going to do, right? Well, I think I've got an approach for this, and my approach is I'm not going to go through the tiny details of this sky. So I'm going to try and first blend it. Well, I'm going to blend a nice sky and maybe have those rippling of clouds here, ripples of clouds at the top, maybe put those in afterwards. So this is an approach I'm using, but you could use a different approach, not a problem. So let's blend this. Let's try and blend this, okay? So how are we going to blend this? This is where my daughter showed me a beautiful trick where go to the shade brush, keep it at 100%, and now we get at 5%, and watch how it blends, right? I pick the color picker on this adjacent brown here, and then I'm just going to continue to that lighter area, and then I'm going to pick this, and just, can you see it? Wonderfully, just, and then pick that darker color and just take it, stretch it to the next region with the shade. Look at that, beautiful how it blends, right? I'm going to go through the sky like that without paying too much details of the reference image sky. So here, I may increase the brush size depending how you feel as you do the strokes, right? Look at that, the way that that's created is almost like a sky. And then I want to pick this color, just follow that. Look at that, the way it's sort of faded in. Kind of just, let's go down like this, continue to go down, pick this pink color and just let it float into, look at that, beautiful. And then this darker color just meld it into the next region. Okay, and you'll see how the sky is coming into full bloom there. And maybe have a light patch here, because that's what's showing here, right? And then take some of that blue, just blend it like that. Okay, take some of that blue again and blend it. So it just melds into the sky, isn't it? Look at that, beautiful, it just melts in. This, I have to thank my daughter for this, for coming up with this technique. She's a bit loud of an experimentalist like me as well. Oh, she's 9 years old, by the way. All right, there. Look at that. We've melted that line so wonderfully, right? That's the harsh line has disappeared. Just keep going over it like this, and then those harsh lines will disappear. And when we have this orange here for some reason, maybe this orange was supposed to be there, but it could still make it work, right? There, can you see it? The blue, the harsh blue, and then I just take that line, mix it in with that color. There. Let's see what it looks like. That's so much better, isn't it? And then keep going like that. Pick these colors. Right, and don't forget to save your work now and then, just in case. Get that orange, like lift it up to the top a little bit. Yeah. Look at that. Beautiful colors, isn't it? Because we've got a limited time, that's why I'm trying to work fast. If I had more time, I would obviously pay more details to it. Look, 9%, and then still hardness. We haven't even touched the hardness. Just the shade brush. Beautiful strokes here. Wonderful, giving us marvelous sky effect. And then we can look at the reference image and see what more we can do to bring it to life, isn't it? Right. Look at that darker image. That's darker. And then we got this color here. So I can just go here. Why not, right? See that? How the sky is somehow diffused. But we can make some of those ripply clouds and then make it work, right? So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to save this. And I'm going to pull it up again. Don't ask me why I'm doing this, but the reason I'm going to pull it up again is because I'm working with the prototype here, which is the improvement to the previous app. The one you have will be from the live Play Store, but the one I'm working on is a prototype, which we're working on memories issues, yeah. So we're trying to figure that, but it's not, you should have no problems. We're trying to improve the performance of the app, you know, so it works for a lot of users with so many different Android devices, right? That's one of the things that you learn when you develop apps. Okay, so we got that. Now, what are we going to do? Should we head for that tree, right? Put some detail into that tree. Why not? So I'm going to go back. I could use the shade brush, but the tree is quite pronounced. And to use the shade brush will make this tree look a little dreamy. And we don't want to do that. So we'll probably go into line here, right? Keep it 100% for now. And then we're going to, first of all, get these smaller brush here, 2.4, and get these effects of the trees first down, right? Just make sure that you got the bulk of the tree details down, and then we can start working on some of the other aspects of the tree, right? So let's get pick the color picker and just go rapidly creating those trees, because look at our tree. That's not like a tree, is it? So now that we've got a smaller brush, and I'm still sticking to it, I can pick out these trees and continuously picking the color picker, because the tones might change. Even though it looks black, the tones may be different to what you think, and I'm not waiting to guess. I'm going to do what I'm trying to replicate as best as possible, the formation of this tree, right? I'm not going to guess what it is, right? What's that purple? See that? Now we can get really in between these dark areas that are coming up, the purple areas. And then you'll see the tree has some sort of sensibility to its formation and shape, which is what we're looking for. Right, so get rid of that. So some orange there. So I used, obviously, with the bigger brush. There you are. So here, there. So you can see here that the clouds are. So I've got a really big brush that I'm going through quickly. Right, so that's all I'm doing, just forming the outline of this tree. Look, it's not even drawing as such. It's actually just being able to tune your eyes to the different tones that are happening. I mean, if you're not able to do this, I don't know how I can explain it, but to me it looks so obvious to look at these tones and use this brush to pick those tones. If you're having difficulty in doing this, you should comment on it and let me know why, what difficulty you're facing. Maybe I can help. I'm not too worried about the colors. I know the dark colors are here, and that's why I'm selecting these good darker tones. And then I'm also using a scribbly type of mark to give a natural look to the whole thing. There we are. So that, and then let's have a look where we are on this. Look at that. It's so much different now, isn't it? That looks more like a tree than a blob it did previously, right? You got to admit. So we can go here and say, you know what, this sky is not quite coming out. So let me see if I can bring this, the details of this that may have been left out. Look at that area. See that? So it's a good idea to have patience and learn these skill sets before you start drawing in freehand and thinking, you know, I know what I'm doing. It's very easy to rush, but honestly, every teacher will tell you if you want to get better in something, you need to be patient and understand the skill sets involved. All right, look at that there. See that? The tree doesn't look like a blob anymore. There. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, it's looking quite good, isn't it? And then we can blend it in later. Now you can see this is the drawing process. I'm going to talk quickly about what the drawing process is. So the drawing process means you are building up a drawing stepwise manner, and previously it was done. It's the drawing process that is pretty much always applies to any piece of art that one creates, you know, from taking a blank canvas, blank piece of paper, and then taking it up to a wonderful art piece, right? And that is the drawing process. So that's the reason why I can take this to the next level of a good art piece. People sometimes don't understand that. They think that everything should be done in one sweep of the one pen stroke and one everything. It's the reason why you have good artists, because they understand the nuances of their tools. Not necessarily having a range of multiple tools, but being able to be a master of the tools, not a slave to it. So let's go to this next one. I can see in the drawing process that this needs to be tackled. Had I not come to this step in the drawing process, I would not be able to tackle this tree here, right? Does that make sense? Because I would not know what to do. I would not know how to take it to the next step of the drawing. And that is, in essence, the drawing process, okay? Look, I'm picking up the lighter tones here that are seeping through that tree, and then clearing away some of the big marks with the previous brush, because we went through that quickly, didn't we? But now I'm picking up some dark tones. This is where you really enhance your understanding of tones. And I've still got a fairly large brush size, 2.5%. Right, and here, since I'm along here, I'm going to go here, pick the colors, and then just get that field, that look of that field. Let's see if I've managed to do something with that tree. I think so, isn't it? And then what else does this have? It has that other tree there as well, which we haven't quite grasped. This almost looks like a bush, doesn't it? And we're going to fix that. So let's see how we're going to fix that. Let's see. Look at that. It's actually the color of the background, here, which is shining through, and then this, so we can say that, let's take this background. I'm going to this is where I'm going to use the density, because remember, when you're at the 100%, it's an ink. Basically, it's the tone. You're not going to go over it again and get a different shade. This is the ink level. It's when this is the color you're going to get 100%. And this is what this is a good idea for me to tell you this. If you go to 50%, you have to keep going over the same drawing stroke to achieve that ink level color. So it gives you a bit of a latitude to play with in order to build up the tone. So I'm going to take it down to 30%, and watch what I do. I'm going to take some of this tone, this beautiful orange, and we know this orange, and I'm going to just put it where, see that? It varies. I'm going to put some of that orange and some of that, right? Okay, just, and this color is, in fact, look at that, it's quite big, right? I need to reduce that brush size. So I'm going to take some of that color, and it's not too harsh. I'm still this is black. Notice how the black, you have to keep working at it to get the tones, right? So it gives you like a pencil type style of drawing. Down here, and take that down here more. So this is where I may become a little bit difficult for you to follow, but you can always come back to it, why I'm doing it. I can't give you all the explanations in one drawing. And then if you're having difficulty, look, this is where I'm actually doing the bushes behind that. We need, because we were doing a bush, but right, this is where I can draw the bush. You see how I'm creating tones, right? You see that? You see how I'm creating tones by going over it several times, so I can build up that tonal variation. And then I can take it down either through the tone color, or just take it down here and then just put a bit of a lighter tones of the head of the bush to give. And now I think we will have a bush here. Yep, definitely have a tree line that's actually going, and not just a bush. It's actually a tree line and there's a background of that orange that's seeping through. Let's see if we can apply the same to here, this area of bush. It's quite distinct, so we don't have to, there's none of that sky going through the back. So let's zoom in. You know, you can zoom in as well using pressing your zoom key here, right? So let's keep it here, and let's get this a little bit higher so we have a bit more control over the colors quicker. We have to keep working our colors. And then let's get these down. I'm selecting and if it doesn't work, I can change the density again. Yeah. Yeah, let's see what happens. Yeah, look at that, how quickly we did that. That was so rapid, wasn't it? And now what we can do is, I can see from here that there's this friendly tree, like Bob Ross would say, next to that bushy tree here. Doesn't seem to be alive, right? Right, and then let's take this brush size a lot down. Keep the density setting here. And then let's pick this color and see what happens. Let's see if we can put some detail into this and make it look like it's part of a tree, right? There, this has got to have that branch there, right? Very easy. Now you can see how Bob Ross was creating those beautiful trees. Right, let's see if that works. Yep, that works, doesn't it? Can carry on doing the same. Right there. And then we could even do this. Show there's a continuation. These bushes there. Okay. There, we've managed to do that. And then we can see, then we can add a little bit more of darker. Although I can see that there's, can you notice that that doesn't look like a bush? It looks like a bush because we haven't really done this. This is going to make a difference. Look at that. Just that little bit. Look how that tiny detail made a difference. There. All right. And now I'm going to, before I tackle the tree, you can see that we're in this step in the drawing process. You can see that tree there. How can I put it? Let's go here. Here, look. It's a huge area that needs addressing, isn't it? You can see that looks like it's like someone has thrown some paint over that tree and is yet to dribble down the tree, right? There, this part, okay? So we're going to tackle that. But before I tackle that, I want to show you something else. I'm going to do the foreground fields and I'll show you how quickly one can get away with drawing beautiful fields. You'd be like shocked. Even and the reason I can do this is because I have some experience and also I've done a few other drawings before. So here goes. Watch me what I'm doing. I'm not going to explain so much. What would I do? Pick that. And just going up and down. Look at that. So you have to come back and watch how I did this. Look, I'm going down. Look, I'm going up and down, up and down. That's all I'm doing. Picking the general color tone of what I'm trying to do. I'm going to do this light patch of green. Right, just going forward, back. And I could pick and darken the color if I need to. And then have control over the see that? How quickly these fields are coming together. Didn't think it was possible, did you? Look at that. It's one of the reasons why I picked this, because it was a familiar painting method that I was used to. And then increase the density if that doesn't show up. Just going up and down, up and down, up and down. And then increase the density if it doesn't show up. There. And then we have this brown. Right there. So rapid. See how quickly that feel was created? It's incredible, isn't it? Oh dear, now I've left a big ball of circle around that tree, but we can fix that. Anyway, I'll show you how to fix that. Anyway, it's not a big deal. I forgot because I pressed the thing and then I was focused too much on. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Beautiful. Look at that. Now just add this grey. I did, one of them was the elephant plains I did. Right, that was, look at that. And you could pick a different color here and then bring it here. Right there. And if it's not too light, just lighten it there. Just give it an effect. Right there. See that? Wonderful feels that's been done with such rapidity. So yeah, I left this silly weird black mark. Sorry I showed you this tonight. So what we're going to do is, again, pick the color tones, and if it's not working, it's a good exercise actually. Just get rid of it, you know? No big deal. Right, just pick the color tones adjacent to it. Pick the color tones adjacent to it. And if it's too harsh, take it down. Pick the color tones adjacent to it. There. See how quickly you can do this? No big deal. Don't get too frazzled with digital. It's beautifully allows you complete control over your art piece. Yeah, this is probably a good time to fix this, that weird area that we're trying to fix, isn't it? The color picker, pick the color. Very easy. So how are we going to do this, I wonder? Because it looks very weird. Let me pick this color here and see if I can diffuse that with the density setting here. Let me see if I can diffuse that. There, it's coming together. Let's pick some of the yellow. And then let's see that yellow goes through here. Let's pick some of that. Seems to be working, isn't it? Don't be afraid to experiment. Honestly, that's what the beauty of the digital world is, that it allows you to experiment. Let's see what we've come to. That's looking good now, isn't it? So what I'm going to do is, I'm almost done actually. I quite enjoyed this drawing. I don't know about you, but I actually enjoyed it. And then what we're going to do is, we're going to take that brush, take it all the way down and match the tree stuff that we're going to do to enhance this. And then if that's not showing, increase the density, then give that tree, because remember the tree is against a backdrop of light, so the branches are going to stick out like a sore thumb, right? Like this. That's why, just give it some life, you know? Don't be afraid, it's totally under your control. Right there. And then you got branches going there, isn't it? Then you got a branch going here. This is how Bob Ross did his. Wonderful, and there's a reason why he kept painting for the rest, most of his life, isn't it? Because it's such an important, such a beautiful feeling to be able to draw something that you can gaze and admire, right? Because you've just taken a piece of nature and turned it into your piece of artwork. And that's why landscape is one of the most popular subjects in the world for good reasons, right? What the... Let's see what happens. Let's see if we grab this tree. I'm going to got this tree almost done. Aha, can you see how it's almost done? I can see that I need to put a bit more dark in these, especially these trees. Look, let's give it some darkness and character to it. Another color, right? And then even these. Because they're going to have a dark color to it as well, right? Yes, and even this. Put a little bit of shrub there and a shrub here. We don't know if this is a molehill or something, but we don't really care. It could be a mountain at the back. There. Oops. Can you see how harsh it is? You don't want that, so you don't want to include that in your field that you did earlier, okay? So always think about what you're doing. So this is what we have here, and now I'm thinking that we could keep that sky as it is, but you know, I said I was going to promise you and do some of those ripples. So let's see if I could get away with it. But let me save this, because remember, this is a prototype I'm working with. The live app is perfectly fine. You can download it. And then I'm going to open the paintings again, right? So I got this. This is my drawing. Now what I want to do is I want to correct some of this, what's going on here, right? For example, this yellow. I'm going to take it up a bit, take that down, and then just blend it in. And then here, take some of those colors, just stretch them out. Take some of the yellow color, right there. And then what we're going to do is, this is like the segue into doing those ripples. You know where those ripples are? Look at that ripple. I want to capture those ripples there. So let's try and get that. And let's see if we can pull it off, right? Let's see if we can just add this. It's working actually, isn't it? Let's see if that works. Wow, it does work. How amazing is that? So about here, same thing. Do this. Wow. I'm like really surprised. You surprise yourself all the time, trust me. Right there, added. And then let's see if there's any. Oh yeah, there's a beautiful stroke of lines that gives it like that distance, right? Let's do that. Wow. Yes, that is working here. And have we got any more lines? We've got that orange color here. And then what is the orange color doing? Can we actually make it sort of appear? Yes, why not? See, this is what you can do with. Yes, very nice, yeah. So I don't know, I think you can probably, let's stretch this out. Giving the illusion of some star clouds, right? All right, there. I think I'm okay with that. It's a record-breaking drawing, actually. Love to see your drawing and see how far you got with this. And let me pick a color here and just mark it Paintology. That's two drawings done in a row without me having to go back and finish it, right? Paintology there. So there it is. Let me say that. It's quite bold, isn't it? Actually, I'm going to actually reduce the tonal variation of that, the size as well. All right then, that's better. All right, so we'll save that, and then I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe so I can continue to bring you these lovely drawing sessions, which I enjoy a lot, and I hope you too are enjoying the same way as painting along with me in one session. So it's not typical that you can sit in one session and go through a drawing or painting in one sitting. And if you have not been able to complete it, or it's going too fast for you, you have always the option of course, slowing it down because it's real time. And you don't have to slow down. It's real time, stopping and starting and seeing what I picked and how I came to draw. I may have been going fast towards the end for the sake of time, but I hope this has given you a good idea the power of the digital medium. Doesn't have to be based around tools. It's all based around techniques and art techniques, which is what Paintology is all about. So please do comment and post your picture in the community of the app and do some of the tutorials that you'll find from the homepage. And I will look forward to seeing you again tomorrow, and then I'll post the reference image that I'm going to do. And if you have any ideas, please do comment and provide some feedback. I would really appreciate it. Thank you very much for watching, and bye-bye.